outside today, so I was just doing what's called an ABC quick check on my bike. Every time you go for a bike ride, you want to make sure your bicycle is safe before you get on it. And I'm glad I did my ABC quick check because my tires were low. They needed air. So I just finished filling both my tires up. That's the A. A stands for air. Think of your tires. My brakes, I went to use my brakes. Rear brake works fine. Front brake wasn't working. And I looked around the front of my bike and my cable had become disengaged. So I was able to just reconnect my cable. If I hadn't checked that and I was out on the road biking and I needed to stop immediately and I squeezed both brakes, boys and girls, that could have been a dangerous situation. So B is for brakes. C, chain. You want to make sure your chain is clean. I know that a lot of us store our bicycles or have to park our bikes outside so they can get filled with dust, dog hair, leaves, or just really even get rusty. You want to make sure that your chain is not filled with dirt, all right? And one of the ways you can make sure it's functioning is to lift your back tire or your seat and pedal without going anywhere. If it's pedaling smoothly, if it's moving smoothly, then your chain is probably in pretty good condition. So boys and girls, do your ABC quick check. Now we're going to go outside in just a minute, but before we do, I just want to go over a few things on the board. So our objective today is riding a bike safely. We've changed our fitness focus. We're moving on to push-ups. If you've been doing your planks, your core is getting pretty strong, all right? You need a strong core to do push-ups. You need a strong core for balance when you're riding a bicycle or playing soccer or scootering or doing really anything. Your core muscles make a big difference, and that's why we're focusing on them so much. So boys and girls, for your push-ups, your hands should go right underneath your shoulders. Your body is straight, your feet are together, you're on your toes. You go down, you come up. You go down, you come up. They're going to be tough in the beginning, all right? Especially if you haven't been doing your planks. Your push-ups are going to be tough. But hang in there, persevere. Do one in the morning. Do one at lunchtime, one before bed, and before you know it, you'll be doing 2, 3, 4, and 5. So boys and girls, you can do this. All right. Our health focus is eating a balanced meal. What is a balanced meal? Well, let me go over to our portions plate over here, and let's look at what that is. We talked about fruit and vegetables already. Most of your plate, you want it to be covered with vegetables. You want another large portion of fruit. So most of this plate is covered with fruit and vegetables. That's the healthiest part of your meal. The next largest portion is protein. Protein is eggs and meat and cheeses. We need protein for a healthy body. It keeps our skin healthy, the inside of our body healthy. It helps our brain function. It helps us grow, all right? So we need protein in our diet. The thing we need the least amount of is starches. Starches are things like bread, potatoes, cereals, pizza crust, pretzels, a lot of snack food, things made out of flour. Why do we want very little of that? Although those things are probably some of people's most favorite foods because they're so yummy, boys and girls, when we eat them, they turn into sugar in our body, all right? And our body doesn't need that much sugar. We need the fruits, the vegetables, and the proteins. So let's try to eat a well-balanced diet. All right, let me put that plate back, and let's get outside. Our activity today is to ride safely. So I'm going to take my bike and my helmet, and we're going to go out onto the playground. All right, so boys and girls, we're outside on the playground at school right now, and the first thing that you always want to do before you get on your bicycle is put on your helmet. So you're riding your helmet with your helmet on to protect your brain. Remember, it should be a helmet that fits. The strap should fit not tight against your chin loosely, but it shouldn't dangle like a necklace. The other thing you want to make sure you have on are bright colored clothes so that the cars and all the other people can see you. You want to be visible. All right, we're going to talk about having the correct seat height, how to start the bike, and how to stop the bike. So when you get on your bicycle, you want to make sure that your seat is at the correct height. So I'm getting on this bike, and this seat is perfect for me. My legs are straight, I'm sitting on my seat. My feet are just barely touching the ground. That way when I'm pedaling, I get a strong stroke. Now, when you start your bicycle, you want to make sure you have the ball of your foot, that's this part of your foot, on the pedal. You want one pedal higher than the other pedal. That's called a power pedal start. So when I start, I'm going to push down really hard with this foot, and that's going to give me a strong start. So here I go, starting out. You're always looking where you're going, riding in a straight line. I'm going to do a loop. I'm going to come back right towards the camera, and I'm going to put on my brakes. And when I put on my brakes, I then hop off the seat. So let's talk about those brakes for just a minute. Most of you are riding bicycles with hand brakes. The right hand brake stops the rear tire. The left hand brake stops the front tire. You want to make sure when you're stopping your bicycle that you're squeezing both of them. Not really hard, all right? Because look what just happened when I did that. You want to squeeze them gently. If you only squeeze the left hand brake, which brakes the front tire, you're going along, you squeeze that, whoops, over the handlebars you just went. If you're riding pretty quickly and you only squeeze the rear or right hand brake, your bicycle can skid out behind you, all right? The tire can skid out behind you. That also is not safe. So since we're talking about riding safely, you want to make sure you're squeezing both of them at the same time. The last thing I want to talk about today is to make sure that you are following the rules of the road. If you are riding a large geared bike like this, you should be riding in the street, all right? So once you get into that street, you have to obey the rules of the road. You have to obey the law, which means I'm going to go over to these signs behind me, all right? If you see a sign like this, you see this sign, that's telling you that you're near a school and there might be kids crossing the street. So you need to slow down and make sure they have the right of way. We continue to these signs. I'm going to move this sign this way. This is a stop sign. So if I'm on my bike, boys and girls, which I'm going to do right now, and I see a stop sign, I have to stop. I have to look both ways and make sure that I am not going in front of any cars. I cannot just ride my bicycle through this stop sign. I need to stop. So I've just done that. I'm going to come around. I'm going to make my right turn. And I'm approaching this sign here. This sign here says yield. Yield means I'm about to enter another street. So I need to slow down and look to make sure that nobody's coming. I'm going to do that again, and this time I'm going to pretend that there's a car or a bicycle coming. All right, so if I come up to this yield sign and I see a car, I have to stop. They don't have to stop. I have to stop. So boys and girls, when you're out riding today or tomorrow or this weekend, make sure you're following the laws, share that with your friends and family, and have a safe and fun ride.